My girlfriend said, "I need space to find myself." I believed her and stayed silent. 3 days later, I opened my brother's story and saw her smiling beside him. That post exposed months of lies, a family betrayal, and a truth that changed me forever. That was the night I realized love doesn't always leave loudly. Sometimes it slips out while smiling at you, promising honesty, asking for patience. Her name was Maya. We'd been together almost 4 years. Not the flashy kind of relationship people post about every day. Ours was quieter. Late-night drives, shared grocery lists, inside jokes no one else understood. We talked about the future like it was already booked. Marriage someday, kids maybe, a dog before all that. I thought we were solid. I was wrong. It started with small things. She stopped texting good morning. Conversations felt thinner, like chewing gum that had lost its flavor but you kept chewing anyway. One night, we were sitting on my couch. The TV was on, but neither of us was watching. She kept twisting a ring around her finger. Not engagement, just a cheap silver thing I got her years ago. "I've been feeling really overwhelmed," she said. I muted the TV. "About what?" She shrugged. "Life. Us. Me." That should have been my first warning. Us slipped in between life and her like an afterthought. Then she said it. "I think I need space to find myself." I laughed. Not because it was funny, because my brain didn't know what else to do. "Space. Like a break?" She nodded quickly. Too quickly. "Not a breakup. Just time. I love you." Those words felt rehearsed. "How much time?" I asked. "I don't know. A few weeks? Maybe a month." "A month," I thought. "You don't put love on pause like a Netflix show." But I nodded. Because I didn't want to be the guy who suffocates someone when they're finding themselves. She hugged me before leaving. A long hug. The kind meant to convince you everything is okay. When the door closed, the apartment felt hollow, like the walls had stepped back. The first day without her was strange but manageable. I told myself space was healthy. That mature couples do this. The second day hurt more. By the third day, silence had grown teeth. I checked my phone more than I want to admit. She'd read my message hours ago. No reply. Give her space, I told myself. Don't push. That night, I scrolled mindlessly through Instagram. Stories blurred together. Coffee, gyms, quotes about healing. Then I tapped on my brother Ethan's profile. Big mistake. His story loaded. Music thumping. Dim lights. Laughter. Then the camera swung and there she was. Maya. Not alone. Not finding herself. Sitting on a couch, legs tucked under her, laughing. Comfortable. Familiar. Next to Ethan, my brother. My chest tightened so fast it felt physical. I watched the story again. And again. Hoping I was wrong. Hoping my brain was filling in gaps that weren't there. But then her hand rested on his arm. Casual. Intimate. What the hell am I looking at? I texted Ethan immediately. Why is Maya with you? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Finally. Didn't she tell you? My stomach dropped. Tell me what? No response. I called him. Straight to voicemail. That's when the shaking started. My hands, my legs, like my body was trying to escape before my brain caught up. I texted Maya. Are you with Ethan? Minutes passed. Then, I was going to explain. Explain. That word lit something ugly inside me. You said you needed space, I typed. Space doesn't look like my brother's couch. She didn't reply right away. When she finally did, it was a paragraph. Carefully written. Polished. Cold. It just happened. I didn't plan this. I didn't want to hurt you. I needed to figure things out. With my brother. I called her. She didn't answer. I called again. Voicemail. I sat there staring at my phone, realizing something terrifying. Everyone else knew before I did. The next day, Ethan showed up at my apartment unannounced. He didn't knock. He used his key. Bro, listen. I didn't let him finish. I stood up so fast the chair tipped over. How long? I asked. He swallowed. A couple months. So while she was telling me she loved me, you were... It wasn't like that, he cut in. We didn't mean for it to happen. I laughed. Loud, sharp. You don't trip and fall into a relationship with your brother's girlfriend. He looked down. She said you guys were drifting. Drifting. I stepped closer. Did you ever think to talk to me? Or was sneaking around more convenient? He didn't answer. That silence told me everything. That night, I didn't sleep. I replayed every moment from the last few months. Every late night she worked late. Every time Ethan canceled plans with me. The puzzle pieces slid into place with sickening clarity. I felt stupid, betrayed, replaceable. How long was I the only one who didn't know? By morning, Something inside me shifted. The hurt was still there, but beneath it was something calmer, colder. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. I sent Maya one last message. I saw everything. I don't need explanations. Don't contact me again. She replied almost instantly. I never meant to lose you. I stared at the screen. Then I blocked her, and my brother. But the story didn't end there. Not even close. Because a week later, I found out why she really needed space. And when I did, the power finally shifted. A week passed. Then another. The silence was loud, but it was cleaner than the lies. I stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. I went to work. I ate. I slept barely, but still. I told myself that blocking them was closure. It wasn't. Closure came accidentally. The kind you don't ask for but can't unsee. It happened on a Tuesday night. I was at my friend Leo's place, half listening while he ranted about his job. My phone buzzed on the table. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. Hey, it's Jenna, Maya's old roommate. I know this is weird, but I think you deserve to know something. My heart skipped. I hadn't heard that name in years. What's going on? I typed. 3 dots appeared. Paused. Appeared again. She didn't just find herself. She planned this. For a long time. I stared at the screen. Planned? Jenna kept typing. She talked about Ethan months before you guys took a break. Like, really talked about him. Said he understood her better. Said she was just waiting for the right moment. My chest tightened again, but this time it wasn't shock. It was clarity. So the space thing, I wrote, was an exit strategy, she replied. I'm sorry. I leaned back against the couch, staring at the ceiling. Everything clicked into place with a brutal kind of calm. The sudden distance, the rehearsed words, the perfectly timed break. She didn't need space to find herself. She needed space to leave without looking like the villain. I thanked Jenna and put my phone down. Leo noticed my face. You good? I nodded slowly. Yeah, actually, yeah. And for the first time since everything blew up, I meant it. 2 days later, my mom called. Why didn't you tell me? She asked gently. Tell you what? There was a pause. Ethan told us he's seeing Maya. I closed my eyes. So he told you, I said. Just not the whole story. She said you two broke up. Of course she did. My mom sighed. Your father's furious. Ethan's not answering his calls. I felt something strange then. Not satisfaction, not relief. Distance. That's not my mess to clean, I said quietly. After we hung up, I sat there thinking about how family betrayal hits differently. You expect loyalty by default. When it's gone, it leaves a deeper scar. But scars heal. I decided then that I wouldn't be the quiet casualty in their love story. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't explain. I wouldn't fight for a narrative they already rewrote. I would live well. A month later, I ran into them. Not planned. Not dramatic. A grocery store. Of all places. I was reaching for cereal when I heard her laugh. That laugh. The one that used to mean home. I turned. Maya froze when she saw me. Ethan stiffened beside her. For a moment, no one spoke. She looked thinner. Tired. Not glowing like she probably imagined she would. Hey, she said finally. I nodded. Hey. Silence again. Ethan cleared his throat. We didn't expect to see you. I almost smiled. Yeah, funny how life works. Maya opened her mouth, closed it, then tried again. I never wanted to hurt you. I met her eyes. Calm. Steady. But you did, I said. Not angry. Just honest. And you knew you would. Her face fell. I hope you find what you're looking for, I added. Then I walked away. No tears. No shaking. Just space. Real space. That night, something else happened. Ethan texted me from a new number. I miss my brother. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I replied, you didn't miss me when it mattered. No response. I blocked the number. And for the first time, it felt final. Weeks turned into months. Life didn't magically get perfect, but it got lighter. I started running again, picked up old hobbies, met new people. One night, while scrolling mindlessly, I saw it. Maya posted a quote. Sometimes love teaches you lessons you didn't ask for. I didn't feel anger. I felt gratitude, because losing her taught me something I desperately needed to learn. Love that requires deception isn't love. And loyalty that bends isn't loyalty at all. I wasn't replaced. I was released. 3 months after everything fell apart, I thought the worst was behind me. That's the funny thing about betrayal. It doesn't hit once. It echoes. It was late on a Friday when my phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. I stared at it, annoyed more than curious. I'd learned my lesson about answering ghosts, but something told me to open it. Hey, it's Maya. Please don't block me yet. I just need to say something. I felt my jaw tighten. Of course you do. I didn't reply. Another message came in seconds later. I know I don't deserve your time, but I need closure. I almost laughed. Closure. Everyone wants it, rarely for the right reasons. I typed slowly. Say what you need to say. Her reply took longer this time. I messed up. I see that now. Ethan and I, we're not what I thought. He's not you. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the wall. He's not you. That sentence would have destroyed me months ago. Now it just felt late. She kept going. He lies. He gets jealous. He gets angry in ways I didn't expect. I didn't think he'd turn on me like this. Turn on you. I closed my eyes. A bitter smile tugged at my lips. So the guy who betrayed his own brother isn't great at loyalty, I typed. Shocking. There was a pause. I know how that sounds, she replied. But I miss you. I miss who I was with you. There it is, I thought. Not me. Who she was with me. I took a deep breath before responding. You didn't lose me because of a mistake, I wrote. You lost me because of choices, repeated ones. Another pause. I'd do anything to fix it. That sentence made my chest ache. Not because I believed it, because I once would have. I don't want revenge, I replied. And I don't want apologies. I want distance. That's my closure. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then one final message. I hope you're happy. I stared at the screen. I am, I typed back. And for once, it wasn't a lie. I blocked the number. A week later, Ethan showed up again. This time, he looked wrecked, dark circles under his eyes, slumped shoulders, like life had finally caught up with him. I didn't invite him in. What do you want? I asked. He swallowed hard. She left. I nodded slowly. Yeah, she tends to do that. He flinched. She said you changed, he continued. That you're cold now. I laughed quietly. No, I just stopped bleeding in public. He looked at me like he wanted to argue, then thought better of it. I messed up, he said. I lost you. I studied him for a long moment. You didn't lose me, I said. You traded me. That landed harder than yelling ever could. I don't expect forgiveness, he said. I wanted you to know I regret it. I nodded. Regret doesn't rebuild trust, I replied. It just proves you knew better. He stood there awkwardly, like he wanted permission to stay. I didn't give it. When he finally turned to leave, I felt something surprising. Relief. Time passed. Real time. The kind that doesn't announce healing but delivers it quietly. I met someone new. Not a whirlwind. Not fireworks. Just calm. Her name was Elise. She asked questions and actually waited for the answers. She didn't disappear when things got uncomfortable. One night, she asked about my family. I hesitated, then told her the truth. All of it. She didn't interrupt, didn't judge, didn't rush to fix it. When I finished, she just said, "That must have hurt." That was it. No excuses, no minimizing, just understanding. I realized then how low my bar had been before. Months later, I heard through mutual friends that Maya and Ethan weren't speaking anymore, that family gatherings were tense, that trust had fractured in ways that couldn't be glued back together. I didn't feel joy about it. I felt distance, and distance is powerful. Sometimes karma isn't dramatic. Sometimes it's just living with the consequences of who you chose to be. One night, I scrolled through old photos, not because I missed her, but because I wanted to see if it still hurt. It didn't. The man in those pictures looked hopeful, loyal, a little naive, not weak, just trusting. I closed my phone and smiled. I didn't lose love, I thought. I lost an illusion, and in return, I found something better. Myself. By the time a year had passed, the story felt like something that happened to someone else. Not forgotten, just filed away. Life had filled the empty spaces in quiet ways. Sunday morning coffee runs, new routines, new laughter that didn't feel forced or fragile. Elise and I took things slow. No grand promises, no dramatic declarations, just consistency. And after what I'd been through, consistency felt like luxury. One evening while we were cooking dinner together, she asked casually, "Do you ever think about her?" I paused, knife hovering over the cutting board. "Sometimes," I admitted, "but not in the way you're probably imagining." She leaned against the counter, listening. "I think about the version of me that stayed too long," I said. "The one who ignored his gut because he was afraid of losing someone." She nodded. No jealousy, no tension, just space to be honest. That version of me doesn't exist anymore. She smiled softly. Good. That weekend, I attended my cousin's wedding. Family event. Big mistake or so, I thought. I hadn't seen Ethan in almost 8 months. He was there, standing alone near the bar. He looked older, not in years, in weight. We locked eyes briefly. He hesitated, then walked over. "I wasn't sure you'd come," he said. "I wasn't sure either," I replied. We stood there awkwardly, surrounded by music and laughter. "I heard you're doing well," he said quietly. "I am." He nodded. "I'm glad." That was it. No apology, no explanation, no dramatic reconciliation. And strangely, that was enough, because forgiveness isn't always about reunion. Sometimes it's just releasing the need for more. Later that night, I stepped outside for air. The venue lights glowed behind me. Crickets hummed. The world kept moving. I thought about Maya then, not with anger, not with longing, just clarity. She didn't betray me because I wasn't enough. She betrayed me because she wanted something easier, something exciting, something that didn't require accountability. And I finally understood something important. People don't hurt you because they're strong. They hurt you because they're avoiding themselves. On the drive home, Elise reached for my hand. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Better than okay." And I meant it, because I wasn't carrying the weight anymore. Months later, I deleted old photos. Not out of bitterness, just readiness. I didn't need reminders of pain to honor growth. The past had done its job. It taught me boundaries. It taught me self-respect. It taught me that love should never feel like something you're competing for. The last time I heard about Maya was through a mutual friend. She said losing you was the biggest mistake of her life. I didn't ask questions. I didn't respond. Some truths arrive too late to matter. Now, when people ask me how I got through it, I keep it simple. I stopped chasing people who didn't choose me. Because that's where the healing actually started. Not when she left, not when I found out, but when I finally walked forward without looking back. Sometimes closure isn't peace, it's distance. And distance saved me. I used to think the end of a relationship was loud. Crying, yelling, slamming doors, final words that echo forever. But this one didn't end like that. It faded, quietly. The real ending came much later, on a random night, when nothing dramatic was happening at all. Elise was asleep beside me. The room was dark except for the glow of my phone. I wasn't scrolling for memories, I was clearing space, deleting old emails, old notes, digital clutter. That's when I found it. A draft. Unsent. A message Maya had written months ago and never sent. I must have saved it without realizing. "I still think about you. I wonder if you hate me. I wonder if you ever miss us. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know I never stopped caring." I read it once, then again, not because it reopened wounds, but because it confirmed something I already knew. She didn't miss me. She missed safety. She missed being known without earning it. I deleted the draft, and nothing inside me resisted. The next morning, Elise asked why I looked lighter. I smiled. I let go of something I didn't need anymore. She didn't ask what. That's love too. A few weeks later, my dad invited me for coffee. Just us. We talked about work, about life, about nothing important. Then he said, "You handled everything better than I would have at your age." I looked at him, surprised. "You didn't beg," he continued. "You didn't explode. You walked away." I shrugged. "I learned." He nodded slowly. "Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is leave with dignity." That sentence stayed with me. Time kept doing what time does, moving, healing without asking permission. One afternoon, while cleaning out old boxes, I found the silver ring I gave Maya years ago, the one she used to twist when she was nervous. I held it in my palm. It felt small, unimportant. I dropped it into a donation bin, not as an act of anger, as an act of completion. I don't talk about her much anymore, not because I'm hiding pain, but because she's no longer a chapter I'm living in. She's a paragraph, and I've turned the page. People love to ask, would you take her back if she apologized? The answer is simple, no. Because the version of me she left doesn't exist anymore, and the version of her who betrayed me never apologized when it mattered. I learned that loyalty isn't loud. It's consistent. It shows up when things are boring, when they're hard, when no one's watching, and anyone who asks for space while holding someone else's hand already made their choice. Sometimes I imagine a younger version of myself sitting on that couch, watching the door close, thinking patience would save the relationship. I wish I could tell him this. You don't lose people who love you. You lose people who were already gone. I didn't get revenge. I didn't expose anyone. I didn't win them back. I did something better. I moved on, and in doing so, I took back my power. Now, when I think of that night, the text, the story, the betrayal, I don't feel anger. I feel gratitude, because it taught me what love should never feel like, and what it absolutely should. Peace, trust, home. I didn't lose her that day. I found myself,